Karl Gerber. You better get a real good one.
Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber, and I'm a real workplace lawyer. Due to a lot of questions and rumors, tonight we bring you no other than Delicious Devine. Chief Madame at Underground Operators, the boss of Cindy D, the most famous English-speaking landline phone sex operator in the world. Delicious Devine, the woman who sold out to Rhemus Helms, Cindy D's descriptions of her body she gave on rerun landline phone sex calls so the not very accurate Cindy D sex robot men got stuck in could be sold. And most recently, we found out that the sex robot patterned off Delicious Devine is reputed to be the cause of the coronavirus.
Do all you conservative talk radio listeners out there think I am divine, or do you think I am delicious divine? I know you all get off on two things: depriving people of health insurance and listening to my delicious voice.
It's a good thing I'm not a conservative.
I tell you, Mr. Gerber, now that you've seen me in all my flesh sticking out of where it behooves you to look, and my blood flowing from and making your blood flow within and raise those things, do I do it for you or do I do it for you, baby? Or would you rather be on the landline with the two flat white butts, Cindy D, with the size 4 body, the blonde hair, and them cups, or D? Deliciousness in her own right, okay, but she ain't got half the woman Delicious Divine's got. Baby, no sir.
This is too forward. I thought you came here to discuss literally being falsely imprisoned by your employer.
I tempt you not. You're a seaman. You know the laws of the sea.
Yeah. I'm a member of the yacht club at Oxnard, but I've been landlocked literally with engine trouble.
I'll fix that engine, baby. Get your engine running. You know where to call. On account of you been called Gerber, workplace lawyer. Workplace lawyer, let me get that right. I'll make sure they only take $5.99 a minute from you, plus taxes and, lots of add-on charges.
Delicious Devine, how did you get falsely imprisoned? The door to the old bank vault over at Underground Operators in Pasadena got stuck?
The only thing that got stuck was all in men's in the Cindy D sex robot. She got out and telling them, these rerun callers, she was Asian. Okay, that's what they get for wanting that.
Well, although I believe most people in Scandinavia look Japanese 10,000 years ago, I do not believe that in real life Cindy D has any of that Japanese Nazuki in her.
No, sir. What Nazuki's got, there ain't no other girl in Tarzana that's got that. No, ma'am.
Reseda, but I do have to agree.
That girl's got the endowment.
Oh, excuse me, but there's something I have to say. This program is made possible through a generous grant from the Helm Foundation's $5.14 billion in funding and 14 inches of endowment.
I'll bet you by golly Rhemus Helms is at fully attention with that Japanese girlfriend of his slipping and sliding. Ooh, nobody's got what that Nazuki's got. And what I've got, nobody's got. Got the guy.
Can you just tell us about the false imprisonment during your employment?
Let me just plot my voluptuous 34, 44, 38 down here and see if you've got any of them bonbons.
What's the 34, 44, 38 all about?
That happens to be my employee number. My identification employee, over at the underground operators. They say if they put that on my pay stub, it's a legal pay stub with an employee identification number and all that,
Well, that is correct. And if it wasn't a valid pay stub, I'd be suing.
Oh, Lord. What kind of radio station is that anyway? Don't them conservatives eat bonbons? How's I'm supposed to do this without them bonbons? They didn't tell me you was a cheapskate.
One moment. The production assistant will be bringing some in.
Now that's what I call first class. He goes snap his fingers and I got a box of Mr. Mason's brittle bonbons.
She's really enjoying the bonbons.
Ooh, you was probably expecting me to do that thing with the bonbons. Do you think the sound engineer will mind?
Oh, no, definitely not. I mean, that's just something the Delicious Devine sex robot does. Wait.
Honey. Yes. Where you been? On them webcams with some white woman?
Here's where I get a little confused. You're supposed to be a white woman, aren't you?
What? Black, white, orange, pink. I love all them colored bonbons. Don't make me no difference what color them bonbons are.
I didn't realize it would be this interesting with Delicious Devine.
Whiplash. You don't go around raising no $2.5 million for muscular dystrophy in no 15 minutes doing a 2-girl show if you ain't got it, and Delicious Devine has magically got it.
I was under the impression that Cindy D was also on that call.
Yeah, she was.
I always thought you were more of the supervisor, supervising the landline phone sex calls, the line where teenage girls call in crying, and sometimes there's someone on the other end listening, and sometimes there isn't.
We've got psychics too, baby. Career coaches, bed judges, and mortuary makeup artists.
How is somebody supposed to judge beer over the phone?
Ooh, I tell you, baby, that ain't no easy task.
Well, I once won a case for a client who worked at a discount department store who was falsely imprisoned in some back security room and interrogated until he threw up in a plant.
Up Honda CRXs, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, in the 80s, my CRX had Yokohama tires.
I keep telling Earl's my husband, and I ain't telling you what color he is, because you don't need to know. But I keep telling Earl I'ma jump out of that ship and swim the shore.
What was going on?
Listen here. I was all cooped up in one of them staterooms, and all Earl and me got to do is the old out and about. And we bouncing, and we jiggling, and the whole 6,638 passengers, and even those infected, they being shaken round the room, round robin. And I can't get them out of my cabin, because they all in here hear my voices, and surrounded in that stateroom, getting a free sex phone call 24 hours a day.
You were doing calls from your stateroom?
Yeah, baby. A couple of hours a day. But I had to look after my old Earl a good 23 hours a day. That's why he gave me all them bonbons. You would too if your wife treated you like that for 23 hours a day.
Where was this?
Japan. Yokohama. Haven't you been listening to the news?
Okay, I didn't realize, guys, it was going to be like this with Delicious Devine. If you want to call me about a real employment case, I hope you do it. 877-525-0700. I don't have any bonbons at the office. 877-525-0700. If you were falsely imprisoned at work and forced to throw up on a plant. 877-525-0700 if your employer owes you wages. All right, we'll be back in just a minute on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Hey, it's Randy. Everywhere you look, another billboard with another lawyer making big promises to get you huge settlements. Can you really trust these guys? But if it's you and you're injured and you really need help, how do you know who to call? It's really simple. Make Clark Fielding your first call. If you or anyone you care about gets into an accident, Clark Fielding is the one to trust. Clark oversees each and every case that comes to his firm. KABC listeners know that Clark is on the side of accident victims and knows a lawyer can make or break their case. If you aren't receiving a call back from that fancy jingled up lawyer with dollar signs all over their flashy billboards, it's not too late to call Clark Fielding. Clark is the only call you'll need to make. Simple or complex cases, don't go at this alone. Car, truck, motorcycle, animal bite, slip and fall, call the only one to trust, Clark Fielding of Fielding Law. 833-887-4275. That's 833-88-SHARK, or go to clarkthesharklaw.com, clarkthesharklaw.com.
Keeps coming.
You know, I feel kind of bad for anyone who couldn't get up here to hit the slopes today.
Maybe they should have gotten a Toyota.
Why's that?
Well, not only does my Tacoma handle great in the snow, but now, when you buy or lease any new Tacoma or 4Runner, you get 2 passes for the 2019-2020 Mountain High winter season. No restrictions.
Man, good call on that Toyota.
Must take delivery from new car dealer stock by midnight 2320. See mthigh.com/Toyota for details. Your Southern California Toyota dealers make it easy. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year. Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a consistent force in fighting for the rights of California employees. They've represented thousands of employees in cases in which they've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, discriminated against at work, or owed wages individually or as a group such as a class action. The Employment Lawyers Group has maintained a high win rate and a serious record before the California courts. Please call 877-525-0700 for an experienced work lawyer. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, research the firm at worklawyerca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. If you hire the Employment Lawyers Group, your legal problem becomes theirs to solve.
Listen to KABC weekdays for your shot at $1,000 4 times a day.
That's free.
Listen, text, and win some free money on AM790 KABC.
You better get a lawyer, son. You better get a lawyer.
I might need one with this Delicious Devine here. This is Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. And she's telling us something about, I don't know, a cruise ship in Japan. And maybe I heard something about a cruise ship in Japan.
Underground operator sends me out on that cruise ship to sort of spread the word. Trying to make me as famous as Nazuki or Cindy D. It's like when you comedians stop over at Norm's or McDonald's and do your shtick, and then everybody knows you are and listens to you on the radio or over the CB radio.
I've never performed at Norm.
Oh, yes, you have. I see you there a couple of weeks ago doing the whole pancake and butter thing.
Oh, I've got a few routines, but I never touched a pancake and butter one. I mean, not me. I couldn't.
Have it your way. Have it your way. Did you know Rhemus Helms made that up?
We've heard that claim.
Well, I ain't making no false claims. They had me in the chamber room over the ship. I was doing public performance, landline phone sex calls from 10 to midnight every night.
Were people calling in?
They sure were, baby. They had landlines at every table. Just like all those fancy restaurants, they do the Sizzler, and they'll Pollo Loco.
I haven't seen anything like that. Don't most of their customers have cell phones these days?
Oh, cell phones. Come on now. Now, that's no way to enjoy your phone sex.
What kind of room was the chamber room?
Pretty much what you see in them high-roller men's rooms with the guys with the cologne and the towel. Just sitting there waiting to smell.
I think we got the point.
Oh, okay. You gonna take my case or what?
How is underground operators responsible for you being trapped in your room because your act was so popular, or you're being too loud when you're giving your husband your phone sex routines 23 hours a day after you spend a couple of hours taking phone sex calls from your stateroom?
Baby, listen, I was on company business, okay? They don't have to pay me for being quarantined.
Quarantine for what? Being oversexed with your mouth?
What? Listen, where you been? You ain't heard nothing lately, huh?
Like I said, my engine is out of service, endless warranty problems. I've been landlocked representing employees in the Inland Empire.
Then you know. That's where it all started.
Yes, Rhemus Helms has a phallic-shaped worldwide distribution center in Fontana, California that is larger than any of the distribution centers there. His sex robots started procreating, thereby causing excess fluids that got into the magna of the earth. That was episode 63. Hear it on workplacelawyer.org, all one word. Well, everybody knows that the excess fluids cause tiny earthquakes around Fontana called Swarmageddon.
Yeah, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Lots of excess fluids. But that ain't the virus I'm talking about.
Right. That wasn't really a virus when that idiot expert witness on episode 76, which can be heard on workplacelawyer.org, all one word, invented the repurposed, recycled, world's largest condoms he used to waterproof a house. And
I know that too. Okay, the repurposed condoms started breaking on account of some virus those sex robots caused. Do I win a prize?
Gee, I mean, it seems like all we talk about on this show are viruses.
Well, Mr. Gerber, don't you think public health awareness is an important reason for the AM broadcast?
Oh, I definitely agree. I mean, what was I thinking?
Listen, I want to be paid for the whole 14 days I was held on that ship.
Japan. Oh, this isn't about the coronavirus, is it?
Yes, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Oh, my God. You were on the Italian Princess cruise line that was being held in Yokohama, Japan, because there was a coronavirus outbreak?
I wasn't on that nasty ship, no. You think good old Earl would let me go on that skank ship?
Of course not. I mean, what was I thinking?
Listen here, I'll tell you what, Mr. Gerber. Sometimes I don't think what I'll do with you. I don't know what I'll do with you. That's what the problem is. Maybe I'll rub bananas on your back. Or maybe you're better off getting whipped by Mistress Luba.
No. Cindy D is a professional colleague of mine on this show. I don't think she'd whip me, even if she's doing Mr. Luboff.
14 days in Yokohama in that stateroom. Just me and Earl.
What other over 6,000 passenger ship was quarantined in Yokohama this month?
I was on the Prince Albert.
What's the Prince Albert?
It's a metal ring. It begins almost straight, is bent later with pliers into a round shape. The entry point is the front of...
Oh, God, maybe somebody gets this one.
I'm hoping maybe not.
Well, I'm still not getting why you were held captive on a ship.
Mr. Gerber, they thought I was the real thing, baby.
Well, you do seem to be the real thing, other than, I'm not sure you're black.
You're not sure?
Well, I'm looking at you and you look like a white woman to me.
Now, I know you're a real honest-to-God discrimination lawyer talking that way.
I'm not an expert on skin tones other than to say that, nobody is actually white and no one is actually black, but I don't think you're black, Delicious.
It's just this here mainstream news media. They don't want people to go on thinking I am black. You know how it is. They just like those old white men, like you.
Well, this is probably the least non-mainstream show on commercial radio and quite possibly the least mainstream show on outlaw internet radio.
Then let me tell you a secret.
Well, go ahead. Only 150,000 people will hear this episode one way or another.
I am just a poor little white girl born to an all-black family.
Is that common?
There's my brother Nathan R. Jr. Now, I don't know what all those people go around calling him the jerk for.
President Johnson, he signed the Equal Opportunity Employment Act, otherwise known as the EEOC in 1964, which forms the basis for the employment discrimination laws I use today.
I ain't talking about that seedy Texan with block bowels.
Oh, you're calling a different president a jerk. Oh, I get it. Yeah, that guy has a nickname for everyone. For a little while, I was Baby Gerber.
That blob. No, I ain't even gonna dignify how a man could go with all that silicone. I tell you, Mr. Gerber, I am 100% natural. Feel these?
I will not.
You're afraid where they been? Please, baby. Everybody gets my voice. But if you want to go where those bonbons go, you better go get yourself the sex robot.
I don't know, to tell you the truth. After I heard about what that sex robot did over at Mobility Estates Corona with those bonbons, I don't know if I'd be willing to eat a bonbon Delicious Devine offers me.
Then you go put those back where they belong. Right here, between those. You know what to do with them, baby.
Yeah, I've got the whole cholesterol thing anyway. I can't be going around eating bonbons. They're better off between those wrappers in the box.
I was saying I was just a poor little white girl born to black sharecroppers.
Sharecroppers? I heard you were 60-bit sharecroppers in 1960?
Who the hell running around calling me 60? I am 34, 44, 38. Now, if I was 60, even good old Delicious Devine would be getting a reduction.
Reduction? Like the way Rhemus Helms put your model on the market over at the $1.14 store after you've been close to $6,000 or whatever the price was for your sex robot.
Listen here, when a girl's got a guy like Earl, she's got to do what he say. He say that sex robots ain't no size 18. She's a 14. People will think I ain't feeding you enough bonbons. What kind of husband am I? Anyway, I'm not a jerk.
Well, I'm not a jerk either.
But for a long time, they go around calling my brother the jerk. I don't know why either. Just because he make half the country cross-eyed, that ain't no reason to go around calling him a jerk.
No, he's your brother.
Did you think he was the only all-white boy born to a family of black sharecroppers?
This can't be real.
Honey child, I tell you, I am as real as that air you've been sniffing over there, trying to figure out if they're smoking what you think they're smoking across the street in them doggy daycare facilities.
Look, I'm not licensed in Japan, but if underground operators sent you onto that ship, maybe they're liable for what happened there. But, when you're at sea, I'm not sure California law law applies. When does why does everyone always confront me with these employment law brain twisters?
'Cause they say you're the best. Call 1-877-525-0700. If you want Karl Gerber, workplace lawyer, 877-525-0700. If you want the witness on the other side sounding as crazy as me, baby, 1-877-525-0700 for the one and only real workplace lawyer, Karl Gerber.
I must say, this has been interesting, but I think I need to make a call about my broken boat engine.
Cool your britches. Just take them off. Relax here with Delicious Devine. And I'll tell you about how I was stuck in that stateroom for 14 days.
Because everybody was outside your door hearing you talk dirty to your Earl, and when you weren't, you were making phone sex calls. Hey, I'm a real workplace lawyer. You really can call me during normal business hours at 877-525-0700. If I can handle someone like Delicious Devine, I can handle the most absurd, horrible employment situations. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. I can only imagine what she's going to tell us when we come back.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a results-oriented law firm whose goal is to get the client what they deserve. They've represented thousands of California employees who've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or were owed wages on an individualized or group basis, such as a class action. They have a high rate of success. There are few situations involving employment law that they have not confronted. At the forefront of employee rights, they're often the first employee law firm to confront a new legal issue. For an experienced employment lawyer, call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, read more about the firm at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Make your work problem theirs to solve.
AM790
KABC. Talk Radio 790 KABC News Update. I'm Steve Cumming. He was an underdog in 2016, and so far in 2020, Senator Bernie Sanders is the top dog. Here's KABC's Jim Root.
It's a three-peat for Sanders.
We won the popular vote in Iowa. We won the New Hampshire primary. We have now won the Nevada caucus.
And he did so with a sizable lead and awarded a sizable number of delegates. But former Vice President Joe Biden, who came in a distant second in Nevada, says this signals his comeback.
I think we're in a position now to move on in a way that we haven't been until this moment.
In Las Vegas, I'm Jim Root.
KABC SoCal weather, mostly cloudy tonight with overnight lows in the upper 40s to mid-50s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy in the morning, then sunny by afternoon with highs in the 60s. I'm Steve Cumming. We're on the News Watch 24/7 for you on AM 790 KABC.
Discover why. How to show up with Coca-Cola Energy. You're tired and you're thinking of canceling on your friends. Don't do it! Every time you cancel on a friend, a unicorn loses its horn and becomes a regular horse. Do you really want that on your conscience? Instead, grab an ice-cold can of Coca-Cola Energy with delicious Coke taste and reinvigorating energy. Keep the unicorns alive. Show up every day with Coca-Cola Energy. Energy you want, taste you love.
We're live from the red carpet at the 3rd Annual Unstopped Drain Awards, where once again, Stinky's Rooter is attempting to capture the gold from Mike Diamond, who arrived on time just over an hour ago. Looks like Bubba has finally arrived. Bubba, after 2 consecutive defeats, what makes you think you can win this year?
Well, I never quote a stopped-up drain over the phone. I don't have a price book, and I smell like a sewer.
I know. Who are you wearing tonight?
Official Stinky's attire. Dirty t-shirt with some pocket donut, holy socks, and skinny jeans to enhance my plumber cleavage.
Will that be enough? You're up against Mike Diamond, the Smell Good plumber. They unstop drains for $99. Show up on time and smell good.
I don't think it's fair. How are the rest of us supposed to get jobs when their price book shows $99 for a kitchen sink or even a mainline sewer stoppage?
This is Mike Diamond, and I guarantee my plumber will show up on time and smell good, or your house call is free.
Call 1-800-446-MIKE. Contractor license number 399170.
Fighting in the trenches for you.
Let's go!
Catch the Ben Shapiro Show, afternoons 3 to 6 on AM 790 KABC.
Better get a lawyer, son. Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber, a real workplace lawyer, and I wanted to ask, does the Audible app have rerun phone sex calls? But don't go there and do that if you're a bit beefy and on some kind of blood pressure medication, right, Delicious Devine?
Do I look like a robot to you?
No, we've established you are 100% real woman.
I knew a smart white boy like you would come around to being fancy with fancy, delicious Devine.
Let's not quite go that far.
Honey, listen, you won't get lost, but you won't get stuck. Neither.
I definitely don't want to get stuck on one of those phone sex calls and find out I've run up a $300 bill for a 10-minute conversation with all the taxes and add-on charges. You know, I had a case once where I represented a guy who was supposed to keep the caller on the phone a long time waiting before he got turned over for a phone sex call, and they charged him keeping the customer on the phone, not having phone sex, and it was fraud, and he blew the whistle on the whole illicit operation.
I know the outfit. Their add-ons were doubling the cost of them calls. Then you go out and hire some private investigation to make a couple of calls, write down how long he was actually in the beating and mixing mode, and then compare that to the bills.
Well, yeah, we needed him to testify he was charged for many more minutes than he spent in the actual phone sex section of the call. The problem was...
Yeah, get it out, boy. Get it out, Mr. Man.
Here?
Now, you don't think this will be the first time for Delicious Devine, do you? No, that's sweet.
Okay, all right. The problem was that the investigator sort of lost track on how long he was on the phone sex call, and he ended up being a horrible witness because he had to disclose what he was doing when he was on the phone sex part of the call.
Baby, listen here. Did you win the case?
Well, it's settled for a large amount of money, given the client's lack of damages. By today's standards, probably about $114,000 for a case involving quite minimal lost wages.
That ain't nothing. You got Rhemus Helms $200.1 million when his genitals got infringed by that jerk who was really hard up for money in 1993 and had to pay off his casino debts.
I have never represented Rhemus Helms.
Just keep saying it that way, baby. Somebody will believe you.
He just sponsors his show.
Listen, I love that man to tears, but I do cast some blame on him for what happened to me on Prince Albert.
You know, I know that Rhemus Helms' endowment is vast, but seriously, I mean, what did he have to do with your cruise ship in Japan?
They thought I was a sex robot.
Well, we've been through this. Everyone can tell you're 100% natural woman.
And that Rhemus Helms did a pretty good job with the sex robots, with them procreating and everything.
Well, as I understand things, he did wonders to improving the unmounted genitals Dr. D bioengineered.
Listen here, I don't speak with no special experience or nothing, but I must say, Dr. D is a genius. And so is that granddaughter of hers, Vargine. Now, if Cindy D is I'm so sorry. If she ever needs a babysitter, I just get so... Delicious Devine is always the first to volunteer.
Who thought you were a sex robot?
The captain. The whole crew.
Oh, they thought their lounge act, I mean, I don't know, bathroom act or whatever you were was really a sex robot?
Listen here. What kind of jerks, idiots were they? Do I look like a size 14? Oh, no, sir, baby. Just cause maybe they got some discounted Delicious Devine doozy of a bargain at the dollar and 14-cent store. That don't mean when they see the real thing, a size 18, that is, I couldn't be no sex robot.
Well, but why would they falsely imprison a sex robot? I mean, oh, I get it. They thought nobody could do phone sex 2 hours a day and carry on the same lewd conversation with their husband 23 hours a day. You must have been a robot.
No, you don't get it, Mr. Gerber. They thought I was one of those delicious divine sex robots carrying around the coronavirus.
No, that's absurd.
And me and Cindy D doing the 2-girl muscular dystrophy show and raising $2.5 million in 14 minutes ain't absurd.
Well, first off, Delicious Devine, the coronavirus we heard about on episode 94, listen on the Karl Gerber with a K channel. Well, that was a computer virus. It appears on electronics. It showed the whole lewd thing the Delicious Devine sex robot does with the bonbons on the couch in the mobile home in Corona. Why would they quarantine a sex robot?
I tell you just the way it is, okay? They thought I was the Delicious Devine sex robot.
Why would they think you're a robot?
You said it because no human could go for 24 hours in a day doing the phone sex thing. You said it.
Apparently there is no real explanation why you were mistaken as a robot. I mean, I understand there is a sex robot that looks like you, but...
That's why I wanted that thing off the market, okay? Now, everybody thinks I'm a size 14.
But you know, if you aren't, and they saw you were larger, wouldn't that make them think you weren't the robot?
Oh, don't you get it, Gerber, baby? Man, Gerber, I was locked up in that room without any bonbons for 2 weeks. A girl's gonna lose her figure when all she's got to do is exercise her mouth and keep her man coming back for all of her sweet every 10 minutes.
Was a human in the stateroom?
Ooh-wee! Was it ever? You know what was going on in there.
Well, earlier in this show, you talked about wanting to be reimbursed by your employer for the time you spent falsely imprisoned in your stateroom. Presumably now that we're hearing the specifics of what you were doing in there, well, it sounds like this was a substantial deviation from your normal job duties doing a phone sex act in the chamber room of the cruise ship.
No. You are not getting it. Still, I lived up to my end of the contract. I told you the same hours I was supposed to be in a lounge, I was taking calls in a stateroom.
The math doesn't quite add up. With the 2 hours of calls, 23 hours a day of enticing your Earl with your voice or your organs. But if you worked, well, I mean, the underground operators have to pay you.
What you expect a ship under quarantine to do? When you're on a swingers cruise and 1/14 of the ship is under quarantine, don't you think that'll create a rush on the only landline sex operator on the ship?
I've never been confronted with this fact pattern.
Ooh, don't tire yourself out pumping this one out, baby. It's okay. They've got 471 horny swingers confined to their rooms without partners. The only reason why Earl was in the room with me is because I was lucky. They thought I was his sex robot.
You know, I wouldn't imagine all those guests were, who were quarantined were calling you. I mean, wouldn't they be calling Cindy D or some other English-speaking phone sex operator, or maybe doing something besides making landline phone sex calls in 2020?
Baby Gerber, when they saw me flaunting the proportions of a natural woman, they saw me flaunting all they could think about, which is what they were thinking about with those chocolate brown features of mine, baby.
But you're white.
Why? You keep switching it up. You said you couldn't tell no difference. Now you different.
Well, you know, Earl is clearly black. I met him in line one day standing at Trader Joe's, but you're a white woman.
Oh, please. Race is just a color. I'm as black can be.
Well, in other words, you self-identify with being black.
Listen here. It don't only about identifying. What white woman can do what I do on the landline?
Well, I'd have to say Cindy D, now that not that I've used her services or anything. Well, I mean, she has appeared on this show and assisted me in unusual missions like searching for the soldier's genital. But, that was held hostage by Myron Alfumbra, pronounced Manning, but spelled Eminem, in the same place as those Iraqi missiles the U.S. never found. But as far as I know, she's the most famous English-speaking landline phone sex operator in the world. And I hate to say it, Delicious Devine isn't.
Baby, are you calling me a has-been? All washed up English-speaking landline phone sex operator? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I didn't know about any of this odd demand for English-speaking landline phone sex operators until I started doing this show. I'm just reporting what I've heard, the statistics that I've read. Please get me back to the office during normal business hours and call me if there's a real sexual harassment case. I want to represent real people. 877-525-0700. If you were wrongfully terminated for complaining that your employer was defrauding customers, 877-525-0700 during normal business hours. Make those phone lines ring. 877-525-0700 if you want to start a class action against your employer because they haven't been reimbursing you for hard candies and you're a phone sex operator. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We'll be back in just a minute when I get some more bonbons in here.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a consistent force in fighting for the rights of California employees. They've represented thousands of employees in cases in which they've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, discriminated against at work, or owed wages individually or as a group such as a class action. The Employment Lawyers Group has maintained a high win rate and a serious record before the California courts. Please call 877-525-0700 for an experienced work lawyer. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, research the firm at worklawyerca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. If you hire the Employment Lawyers Group, your legal problem becomes theirs to solve.
Keeps coming. You know what to do.
Celebrate President's Day with great deals on Jeep brand vehicles. Now, well-qualified returning FCA lessees get a low-mileage lease in the 2020 Jeep Compass Latitude front-wheel drive for $157 a month for 42 months with $4,069 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Chrysler Capital. Current lease must end by 3/1/2021. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Residency restrictions apply. Take retail delivery by 3/2/2020. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, wah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see you at practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
From Hogwarts Castle to Star Wars Land. Get it right. AM790 KABC.
Better get a lawyer, son.
Talk Radio 790 KABC. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber. I've got Delicious Devine in studio who told me a minute ago that I should imagine a bed hugging all those squeezable parts of Delicious Devine all day.
And I was doing them new wave landline phone sex calls back in the 80s before Cindy D popped out of Dr. D. Before Dr. D was Dr. D. When that jerk was a Democrat. When Myron Alfambra, pronounced Matting, but spelled M&M, was just Myron. And the guy he does the 3 trim plugs on had just gotten his hair lost.
Well, furthermore, if they thought you were a sex robot, then what did they think your husband Earl was?
A middle-aged black man with a sex robot?
Oh, look. I didn't mean to upset you a minute ago.
You call this washed up? On a daily basis, when I was all locked up in that quarantine, I took 6,594 phone sex calls.
Well, that's a rather precise calculation.
Of course it is, sugar. It's simple arithmetic. Just like my grand Uncle Albert Einstein did over at Princeton. You take those 471 quarantine swingers, each of them called in 14 times a day.
This all happened in 2 hours?
Those swingers know how to handle their materials, baby. Yes, sirree. They can't be having no $200 phone sex calls every time they call me.
Well, how did the swingers get involved in this?
You probably heard of the 80s cruise. You're hoping to go and have a new wave landline phone sex call. Maybe the operator will pretend she's that girl from Berlin and she'll sing that song about sex. Well, tricked out Billy from episode 73. I heard it over the Karl Gerber with a K channel on YouTube. And she got together a swingers cruise from her ranch and they went up to the California wine country on that boat.
Well, I remember her presuming that they boarded this ship inland, wherever her ranch is, 57 miles from Temecula or whatever. How did the ship get to Japan?
I lie to you not. The captain of that there vessel was a swinger too, baby. And he got a little distracted.
Another note. Have you been monitoring what's been going on in Nevada today?
Yes, sir. I am hoping those Bernie babies win.
Well, there's only one, and he's an old man.
Listen, they've got all them little cute little beanies, them babies. I could just eat one of them. Ooh, especially if they're in the shape of a bonbon. Or a big, juicy German sausage.
I'm just concerned that Rhemus Helms might be getting himself into trouble legally financing Michael Bloomberg's campaign. I mean, I just don't see Bloomberg spending $500 million just to get this far. Whereas Rhemus Helms is convinced that other guy running is the one who held that resin mold where Rhemus Helms, moneymaker, just happened to get caught up on.
Yeah. Listen, I had a nice conversation with Michael. I sat him down on my knee and pressed his head into my delicious bosom, Delicious Devine bosom, and said to him, Mikey, you ain't going to get none of this if you don't tell Ms. Delicious Devine the truth about the night of November 23rd, 1993. Mr. Mayor, what was your role in Rhemus Helms' genital going off and getting infringed by that guy with the bad chunky wig?
What did he say?
Well, he tells me he just wanted to get into the porno business. He thought it might be exciting. And he felt bad about what happened at the party.
Okay, just to get these facts straight, because we certainly wouldn't want to disparage a political candidate trying to buy his way into the presidency, you had a bosom-to-head conversation with this man, and he told you that he had a genuine interest in buying Rhemus Helms Production and Distribution Company back on November 23rd, 1993, the same day I was sworn in as an attorney in California.
Mm-hmm, that's right. He didn't know the guy with the wig would pull that trick.
Well, maybe Mr. Bloomberg should have been more selective about who he invited to the party.
Wait a minute. You said he better be damn careful careful about who he selects as his vice president.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Rhemus Helms.
Heavens to bright fluids. It's a done deal. Michael Bloomberg will be the 46th president of the United States of America.
Well, we all know there was that certain bedroom toy they made in honor of the Rhemus Helms thing before the whole procreating sex robot thing. We were told that the Rhemus Helms sex doll was in something like 99% of all bedrooms across the United States and a pretty large number around the world. But we haven't heard anything about a Rhemus Helms sex robot like the one of you, Cindy D, or Nazuki. I'm finding this strange.
Are you now? Don't you see it? Let's look at what it is now. He's saving that up for when he's on the ticket with Mr. Bloomberg.
I hate these politicians who use their actual or hopeful office to enrich themselves.
That ain't what Rhemus Helms is going to do. There won't be no real vice president. He'll be a sex robot.
I can't even... are you insinuating that Michael Bloomberg would use that thing?
Now, Mr. Gerber, we already know your mind is nasty enough to write this stuff. But that's taking it to a whole nother level. Whoever said Mayor Bloomberg would be using a sex robot like that? At least not to Rhemus Helms one. He's got 10 of those delicious Devine models. He pulled them off the shelves before she got recalled. He wanted to make sure he had enough for the rest of his life.
So what do you figure? He's got another 10 years left? Those things only last about a year, right?
I ain't going out and warrantying them robots. They're size 14. I can't give no warranty to something as small as that. There's not enough places to hide it in.
Now, the listeners are probably dying to know more details about what Michael Bloomberg does. Does he like bonbons?
When they've been in them places, he ain't exactly refusing.
Well, this isn't some sort of Russian election interference where you've been paid by Vladimir Putin to say scandalous things about Michael Bloomberg because once again they're seeking to interfere in our elections.
Honey child, Delicious Devine is as delicious as a bonbon that came out of that certain sweet orifice.
That's how the coronavirus started at Mobility Estates, Corona, California.
Now, Mr. Gerber, we've been over this. The media just wants people to think I am right.
Well, before you go, can we clear up why you fired Cindy D and rehired her, why you sold out your friend and sold her rerun description so that recalled sex robot could be built?
You asked too many questions. And a lady's got to keep her secret.
Well, how many? We can't even be sure what race you are.
What does it matter? Never gonna do no webcam show. I can't even get it out. Webcams ain't my thing. I am a landline girl.
Well, and to tell you the truth, I'm not sure you're a size 18.
You've got the experience now, don't you?
Look, don't take this wrong, Delicious Devine, and certainly don't swat me, but I did write a book called Does This Make My Butt Look Big? And, Lisa Glickman, the protagonist, has been on this show. She's been pretty descriptive on butt measurements, and I'd say you're a size 38 to 39, which is really a 10.
Mr. Gerber, don't put it past me suing you for your defamation, calling my butt a size 38, 39.
Well, I've got the chart right here.
Let me see that thing. Bring it on over here.
Oh, gee, you didn't have to grab it like that.
If this is the only thing those conservative listeners got this whole hour, this here is a thing called butt size. There's them bum inches and then the inseam.
God, I was really worried that the listeners would walk out of this show without the talk radio takeaway. Now that they can go out and size their own butts, I think they got a lot out of his show. Oh, my God. We've heard about Delicious Devine since almost the beginning of his show, close to 2 years ago, and finally she graced herself in the studio, and I'm not even sure she's black or white. I mean, this is like Cindy D. It's just a conundrum. Okay, I really am a real workplace lawyer. I'm licensed in 4 states. I have about 15 offices in Southern California, and I represent employees, and, that's all I do. And so if you have a case where your employer really screwed you up and made you get into debt because they fired you because of your age or a medical condition, well, that's not right. I'd like to represent you. Call me in normal business hours at 877-525-0700. If your butt was slapped, that's sexual harassment, and I do a lot of that. 877-525-0700. If you're owed wages from your employer, commissions, maybe a severance agreement, 877-525-0700 to get me during normal business hours about 9 o'clock through 6:30 every day. We hope you will have a wonderful week of workplace abuse. Next week, we're going to be on this time, 7:15 after the game, and then 9 o'clock on Sunday night. But listen on the Karl Gerber with the K channel on YouTube and catch up.
The home of Ben Shapiro, KABC Los Angeles, Orange County, and KLOS HD2 Los Angeles. Special.